Kairo Leon was Seoul's most feared mafia boss, a man the underworld bowed to, yet mocked when his back was turned. Because Kairo carried a secret, a weakness so painful it broke him more than any bullet ever could. For 10 long years, his manhood refused to respond. Doctors failed, specialists gave up, and every woman who touched him walked away disappointed. He was a king with a broken crown, powerful everywhere, except where he needed strength the most. But on one dangerous night, inside the underground club, Crescent Blue, everything changed. Because that was the night Amina danced into his life. That was the night something inside him woke up. And when one foolish man dared put a hand on her, Kairo made the whole club understand one thing: touch her again, and I'll bury you myself. They didn't listen, and that mistake changed all their lives forever. If you're just joining in, please don't stop liking and subscribing, as it truly helps this channel grow. And trust me, this story is about to get very hot. Grab a cold drink, sit back, and let me take you into the full story. Kairo Leon was the kind of man people whispered about instead of mentioning by name. Seoul's most feared mafia lord, young, brilliant, unpredictable, dangerous. But behind all that power was a truth he carried like a scar across his soul. For almost 10 years, his body refused to respond to anyone. He tried doctors, specialists, therapists. None could fix what was broken inside him. The shame of it followed him everywhere, even when the world bowed at his feet. He lived with power and a silence only he could hear. Everything changed the night he walked into Club Crescent. He wasn't there for pleasure. He came to hunt a traitor. But when the lights dimmed and soft music filled the club, a woman stepped onto the stage. Amina, a South African dancer with grace sharp enough to cut through darkness. She moved like art, like fire, like she didn't belong on a stage, but in a world made from light. And for the first time in a decade, something inside him sparked. His chest warmed, his breath caught, his heart thudded against his ribs like it remembered how to feel. Everything else faded. But trouble came quickly. A drunk customer reached for her ankle. In one swift move, Kairo snapped the man's wrist. The club froze. No one dared breathe as he growled, "Don't touch her." Amina stormed backstage, angry and confused. Kairo followed, catching her wrist gently. She pulled away. "What gives you the right?" she snapped. "You don't understand," he said. "Something woke inside me when you danced." And he meant every word. Over the next 2 weeks, their lives tangled together in ways neither of them planned. Kairo came to all her performances, watching with quiet intensity. Afterward, they shared late-night meals, stories, laughter, culture. She told him about home, and he taught her little pieces of Korean. He bought her things she never asked for. Simple gifts, pretty things, things he thought matched her smile. "You're trying to buy me," she accused one night. "No," he said softly. "I'm trying to take care of you." Her friend warned her she was getting too close to a dangerous man. Amina tried to ignore it, but part of her knew it was true. She saw glimpses of his darkness, the way his men bowed to him, the weapons hidden under jackets, the respect he commanded with a single look. But she also saw softness in him, kindness he hid from the world, a loneliness she recognized because she carried the same one. One night, she cooked traditional food from home and took it to his penthouse. His world stunned her. Glass, marble, city lights that looked like stars under her feet. Yet he smiled like a shy boy when she walked in. "It's been lonely here," he said quietly, "until now." Watching him cook for her felt surreal. A mafia lord rolling up his sleeves, chopping vegetables, watching her when he thought she wasn't looking. When she caught him staring, he only smiled. "You're worth looking at." He stepped closer, heat radiating from him. "Amina," he whispered, "you woke something in me, something I thought died years ago. You're a miracle I didn't know I needed." He held her face gently, his voice trembling. "I will protect you. I will love you fiercely. But I'm not an easy man. My world is dangerous. I need you to understand that before this goes any further." Just when their hearts were beginning to find each other, Kairo's doubts crept in. Not about her, but about whether she truly loved him or the world he owned. So he pushed her, quietly, secretly. Rumors spread that he was seeing another woman. Amina heard it, saw the pictures, felt the sting, but she didn't leave. Later, he offered her money, a lot of it, more than she had ever seen. He watched her face closely, waiting. She refused every single one. He wasn't satisfied. He needed to know her love wasn't borrowed, bought, or shaken by fear. Kairo poured her a glass of water as she sat quietly in his penthouse that night. The city lights shimmered behind her, but Amina looked small, tired, like someone carrying more weight than her body could bear. He had seen her fierce, he had seen her confident, but this was the first time he saw her vulnerable. "Amina," Kairo said softly, "tell me who you really are." She hesitated. She had spent years hiding behind a stage name, behind music and lights. But something in his voice, something in his eyes, made her chest ache. "I'm not just a dancer," she whispered. He said nothing. Waiting. "I'm a student at Royal Crest University, one of the most expensive in the entire region. I'm studying business strategy. I want to graduate, start something real, something big." Cairo's brows lifted slightly. Royal Crest was a school for the elite, politicians' children, CEOs' heirs, future world leaders. And here she was, a woman who danced at night to survive the day. Amina's eyes softened with sadness. "My father left us when I was 13. He ran off with another woman. My mom broke down. My little brother, he needed school fees. Then my mom got sick, the hospital bills." Her voice cracked. "Everything fell on me." Kairo felt something twist painfully in his chest. "So I dance at Crescent Blue," she continued. "I don't do it because I want to. I do it because I have to. Every one I make goes home, to my mom's medicine, to my brother's school fees, to my dream that maybe one day I'll graduate and pull us out of this life." Kairo stared at her for a long moment, his throat tight. He knew struggle, he knew shame, but her story, her courage, hit him like nothing else. "You were going to leave tonight," he said quietly. "I have to," she nodded. "If I miss another shift, the manager will fire me, and then everything will fall apart." Kairo leaned back in his chair slowly. "Amina, do you even know who owns Crescent Blue?" She looked confused. "Some rich guy, I've never seen him." A slow smirk curled at the corner of Cairo's lips. "You're looking at him." She froze. The room went silent. "What?" she breathed. "I own Crescent Blue," he repeated calmly. "And 4 more clubs in Asia, and 12 logistics branches, and a biotechnology arm, and a steel transport line, and a private security chain." He turned slightly toward the window. "Amina, I own more than you think." Her jaw dropped. She stared at him like her mind couldn't hold the shock. You're the owner? You?" Her voice was a whisper. "Yes," he took a step closer. "And that means one thing, you can't get fired from my club." Her eyes filled with tears she didn't want him to see. Relief hit her so hard she had to look away. But Kairo wasn't done. "You're too smart to be on a stage," he murmured. "You shouldn't be dancing for survival. You should be running something." Amina blinked. "Running? What?" "My company," he said simply. "Leon Global Consortium." Her heart skipped. "You're offering me a job?" "I'm offering you your life back," he replied. "A top management position, full salary, school support, security for your family, but—" He stepped closer until their breaths touched. "It comes with a price." Her pulse raced. "What price?" "You have to work closely with me," he whispered. "Very closely, every day, every night, no running, no disappearing, no hiding from me again." Amina swallowed hard. "You want me to work for you?" "I want you beside me," he corrected softly. "In my world, in my life, where I can protect you." Her breath trembled. She didn't know whether to feel scared, or safe, or both. Kairo turned, picked up a tablet, and handed it to her. Amina scrolled, and her eyes widened. It was a detailed portfolio of Leon Global Consortium, one of the most powerful private firms in East Asia. International branches, multi-billion assets, global partners, everything she had studied, everything she dreamed of. "You expect me to manage this?" she whispered. "No," he said gently. "I expect you to learn. And you will, because you're brilliant." She looked up at him, disbelief turning into something warm and soft. Within a week, Amina became one of Leon Global's top managers and shocked the entire company with her intelligence, discipline, and confidence. She managed teams, solved crises, organized operations with precision. Even the board members whispered, "This girl, she's a star." But Kairo still wasn't satisfied. Every time she smiled, he wanted more. Every time she protected someone, he wanted her closer. Every time she showed kindness, he fell deeper. And slowly, fear grew in him. Fear that she was too good for his world. Fear that her heart was bigger than anything he deserved. Fear that she might one day leave him behind. So Kairo decided, quietly, secretly, to test her again. Not to hurt her, but to see if her heart was strong enough to handle a man like him. A man with shadows, a man with enemies, a man whose love came with danger. He didn't know it yet, but Amina's love was about to be tested in ways neither of them was ready for. One night, there was a hard knock on her door. When she opened it, one of Kairo's men stood there, pale and shaking. Amina, Kairo's been hurt, badly. He might not make it. Her world collapsed. She didn't stop to lock her door, didn't stop to breathe. She ran out barefoot, racing through the cold night, tears streaming as the only thing she could think was, not him, please, not him. At the hospital, the doctor said he might need a kidney. Without thinking, she whispered, test me, take mine. The doctor's eyes widened. Are you sure? Please, she said, save him. Her hands shook as she signed the form, tears dripping onto the paper. Then the door opened behind her. Amina turned, and Kairo stood there, alive, whole, watching her with eyes soft enough to melt steel. He walked toward her slowly, as if she was the only thing keeping him standing. You were going to give up part of your life for me, he whispered. You didn't choose my money. You didn't choose my power. You chose me. Amina covered her mouth, tears spilling faster. He pulled her into his arms, holding her like she was the only real thing in his world. I needed to know, he said against her hair. If you loved the man, not the monster. She held him tighter. I've loved you long before I admitted it. And that night, the most feared man in Seoul held the only woman who ever reached the part of him he thought was dead, forever. Amina stayed in his arms until her tears dried. Kairo didn't rush her. He didn't move. He just held her like the world could fall apart and he would still be there, standing strong with her in his arms. When she finally pulled back, he traced her cheek with his thumb. Eyes soft in a way that could melt glaciers. Why would you scare me like that? She whispered. Kairo lowered his head slightly, voice quiet and warm. I needed to know your heart, Amina, but I never thought your love would be this deep. She swallowed. It felt like my whole world disappeared. You'll never lose me again, he said. Not if I can help it. Their foreheads touched, breaths mixing, her fingers curled into his shirt, his hands sliding slowly down her back, steady and warm. Kairo kissed her, slow, deep, full of heat and emotion, not rushed, not greedy. Just a man rediscovering a part of himself he believed had died. For the first time, he felt alive. Later that night, she stayed in his penthouse. It wasn't about fear. She stayed because being near him felt safe. Too safe. After showering, she stepped out wearing his oversized shirt. Kairo froze mid-step, eyes slowly dropping to her bare legs. Does it look weird? She asked shyly. No, he whispered. It looks like temptation walked into my home. She laughed softly, the sound warming him more than alcohol ever did. He brushed a hand along her jaw. You don't even try, Amina. You just exist, and I lose control. She placed her hand on his chest. You're not losing control. You're just feeling something real. His eyes darkened with emotion. That's what scares me the most. The next morning, danger returned with a single phone call. One of his warehouses had been attacked. Someone was coming for him. And they would use Amina to break him. She stood by him, refusing to leave his side, even when he begged. I won't run from your world, she said firmly. Not when you didn't run from mine. He kissed her forehead gently. Then stay close. I can't protect you if you walk too far away. But as the days passed, a new doubt crept into Kairo's heart. One he couldn't silence. He knew she loved him now, but he feared her love might fade when faced with the darkness he carried, and so he tested her one last time. The club was loud that night. Bright lights, slow music, voices blending in the air. Amina walked into Crescent Blue for her performance, her heart steady. Her mind calm until she saw him, Kairo, standing in the VIP section, with another woman. Not just any woman, tall, elegant, dressed in silver, her arm laced through his. Amina's breath caught, her chest tightened painfully. He never brought a woman here, never. She froze, unable to move. The woman whispered something into his ear, leaning close. Kairo didn't push her away. He didn't even look guilty. His eyes stayed on the stage, cold, unreadable. Amina's fingers trembled around the pole as she danced, but she kept moving, her body obeying her even as her heart cracked in slow motion. She refused to cry. She refused to look away. She refused to show pain, but he saw it. He watched every flicker of emotion in her eyes, every little tremble, every forced smile. He didn't blink. At the end of her set, she practically ran backstage, trying not to break down. But Kairo was already there, blocking her path. The woman he arrived with had disappeared. Amina tried to walk past him. He caught her wrist gently. "Don't touch me," she said, her voice shaking. "Amina, you came here with another woman?" she snapped. "Why, to humiliate me? To make me feel small? I thought," her voice broke. "I thought we meant something." He stepped closer. "Look at me." She refused. "Amina, look at me." She slowly lifted her eyes to his. What she saw wasn't distance, it wasn't coldness, it was pain and love. And something deep, too deep for words. "That woman means nothing," he said quietly. "She was never the point." "What was the point then?" she asked, voice trembling. "You," he whispered. "I wanted to see if you cared. And you did. You cared enough for your heart to break right in front of me." Amina wiped her tears angrily. "You didn't need to hurt me to know that." "No," he admitted, swallowing hard. "But I'm a broken man who has spent years being betrayed by people who pretended to love me. I needed to see if your love was real." She stepped closer, touching his chest where his heartbeat raced like fire. "Then listen carefully," she said. "I love you, Kairo. I love the man, not the crown, not the guns, not the world you own." Her voice softened. "You, only you." He exhaled slowly, closing his eyes as if her words healed something inside him. "Amina?" His voice cracked. "I don't deserve you." She smiled faintly. "Maybe not, but you have me." And he kissed her, deep, hungry, desperate. A kiss that tasted of apology, desire, and gratitude. His hands cupped her face, his body pulling her closer, his breath mixing with hers like he'd waited his whole life for that moment. "I'm yours," he whispered against her lips, completely. Amina rested her forehead against his. "Then stop testing me," she said softly. "I'm not going anywhere." Kairo closed his eyes, letting the truth sink in. But unknown to them, someone in the shadows watched everything. A pair of eyes filled with jealousy, rage, and the hunger to destroy everything Kairo loved, including Amina. And that was the night the real war began. If you're enjoying this story, don't forget to like and subscribe. It's one